Hey there, newbie. I don't mean any offense, but I'm not really looking to make a new friend.
So what do you do here?
I just got here a few days ago, looking for work.
What kind of work are we talking about?
And I do a lot of things, but I specialize in light mercenary work. Bodyguarding, bounty hunting, things like that. And before you ask, no, I do not do hits. Go to Good Neighbor or the Gunners if you want that shit.
I'm interested, if you think you've got what it takes.
No, I've got what it takes. I've got 2 decades on the road in the Commonwealth under my belt, so don't question me. If you really want to hire me, my fee is 200 caps. I don't negotiate.
Here's your money.
Looks like you just bought yourself a guard. First of all, we should go over some ground rules. In case I hadn't made it clear already, we're not friends. I'm your guard. You're my boss. That's all. Secondly, I'm not a murderer. I'll defend you if you're attacked, but I won't take part in random killings. If that's all clear, let's get moving. You're the boss.
Hi.
Hello there, stranger. If you've come to hear my stories, you're too late. You can come back tomorrow morning if you're interested.
Tell me about yourself.
What sort of thing do you want to know?
How long have you been here?
Oh, I've lived here a long time. In fact, I was one of the first residents. I love talking about the early days of this place, when it was nothing but tents. Why don't you come back for story time? I love to tell stories about those days, and my life before the war.
Have you been here for 200 years?
Oh yes, and I'm quite proud of it. I'm the only living resident of the original camp setup outside the vault over 200 years ago.
That's a long time.
Oh, not at all. The years flew by. I was already an old man when I got here. What was another lifetime or two on top of that? Besides, I had to stay because, well, I don't really like to talk about it.
It's all right. You can tell me.
I had a place in the vault, but my son and grandson didn't. We all came here on the day of the war, but they weren't allowed in. I gave up my place so they could be safe. I never really thought I'd live long enough to see it open, but then the radiation got to me and made me live forever. 20 years passed and the vault never opened, but I couldn't bring myself to leave. This place is home for me now. Now, I'm an old man who lives in his stories. It's not the retirement I wanted, but I've made peace with it, and I'm happy.
What's it like, you know, being a ghoul?
Everyone wants to know that one. Living forever certainly has its upsides. The children love the stories I tell them.
I'm interested in the
Well, you've come to the right person. Longbottom might think his museum is the definitive town history, but I actually lived it.
Tell me more about this town of yours.
When I first arrived, it was just a single tent. A lot's changed since then. A lot of building, digging, and failed attempts to get inside the vault.
Who built this place, originally? Has it been here long?
That depends what part of the town you're talking about. They finished construction on the vault in 2075 or 6? Early 7 at the latest. The first tent was set up on the day of the bombs by a man named George Willis. You'll hear a lot of people around here talk about him like he was some kind of god or a king. Me? I never liked the man. I found him arrogant, especially once he proclaimed himself mayor of his little tent village.
What do you know about him?
Like I said, he was arrogant. He arrived on the morning of the bombs. I arrived in the afternoon. But by that time, he'd already proclaimed himself leader of the refugees there. He pitched that tent, and the rest is history.
What happened to him?
The same thing that happened to everyone else. He died. He was an old man when it happened. Older than I was when I first arrived, which is saying something. He wanted to be buried at sea, so we put his body in the water outside. Just as well, I think. Stopped his grave becoming a pilgrimage site for the church weirdos that came later.
Tell me more.
A young lady named Alex Waters had the first Fourville baby. That terrible secretary of the mayor's is descended directly from her.
Tell me more.
After George died, his daughter Maggie took over as town mayor for a while. I'm the only one who remembers her now. Out of respect for her and her family, I vow to never speak of what became of her. They deserve that privacy.
Tell me more.
I thought I'd never forget all those people who survived the first days of the war in this cave. Now I struggle to remember all their faces.
Tell me more.
For all the bad things I could say about George, I don't think he ever lost faith that the vault would open. Right up until his dying days.
Tell me more.
Here's a nice piece of trivia for you. George came up with the name Fourville as a joke. It was only meant to be a temporary name until they could think of a better one.
Tell me more.
After George died, his daughter Maggie took over as town mayor for a while. I'm the only one who remembers her now. Out of respect for her and her family, I vow to never speak of what became of her. They deserve that privacy.
Tell me more.
For all the bad things I could say about George, I don't think he ever lost faith that the vault would open. Right up until his dying days.
Tell me more.
A young lady named Alex Waters had the...
That was all I had.
Got any other questions for me?
It's all right.
I had a place in the vault, but my son...
That was all I had.
Is there anything...
Let me know if there's anything I can do to help you.
There's no need to worry about me. I'm perfectly happy here with my stories.
So, what do you do here?
I tell stories to the little children. It's all an old man like me can do. If you come back in the morning, you're more than welcome to hear one.
I don't need anything.
That's all right.